Hey guys there, and welcome, it's Treasure Gamer here for another Advanced Warfare video. Today is the second episode of my series, How to Become a Pro COD Player. I hope you guys do enjoy. If you do, a like would be super awesome. That would really help me out, and you guys left lots of nice feedback for the last video, so I was really pleased by that. It really was nice to see. Now, so if you haven't checked out the first episode, that was talking about weapons and guns, choosing the right one, how do you know what's right for you, that kind of thing. Very important if you want to go on high streaks, and if you can't get that right, you're going to be messing up on everything else. So make sure you get that right. There'll be links on screen, and there'll be a playlist in the description which has all of the episodes so far, and there'll be going through more of them throughout the year. Now, if you also haven't checked out my recent video about how Black Ops 3 or World War 2 could be coming from Treyarch, because they've teased the next game, then go check out that video. But anyway, thanks guys, and let's get on to today's video. So we're going to be doing today looking at aiming tips. How do you improve your aim? And you'll see a lot of these videos on YouTube. Some of them are useful, some of them are not, and hopefully mine is useful to you. Now, before we get into everything else, I just want to start off by saying, you know, someone asked, I can't remember their name, but they asked me to do aiming tip video, and I thought I'd combine it in this series, so that's what I'm doing. Now, before we get into actually the main things in game to do with tips, I just want to start off by talking about what you can actually do in terms of your physical hardware and stuff, or just hardware, I would say. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is the controller that you're playing with. People have different ones. You know, some people have scuff ones and whatnot, and that's a bit off topic, but just a little side note. But I really I play with normal controllers, whether you're playing on PS4, Xbox One, Xbox 360 or PS3. You generally okay, for the Xbox 360 controller, that's normally okay. For the Xbox One and PS4 controllers, they're annoying because the actual thumbsticks are quite small, in my opinion. It might not be for everyone, but these tips are definitely, what I'm about to tell you in a second, are definitely going to be useful for everyone, no matter how you feel with the controller. And the PS3 ones also, the joysticks are really horrible because, or thumbsticks, because they are they're convex, meaning that they kind of slope upwards, if that makes sense, and it's just really annoying because my thumbs always slip off, and it's not very nice. So regardless of whether your thumbs fit nicely on the thumbsticks or not, you're definitely going to want to look at this tip. It might not be for everyone. Basically, the players who are going to play casually, go on, maybe play a bit of DLC, maybe then play a bit multiplayer, and just hopefully hope to go on some high streaks, then maybe these are not for you. But if you are trying to get better, like for me, I try and get good gameplays and stuff and other things like that, and obviously it makes you feel like a pro as well, I would definitely suggest getting control freaks. And a lot of people always say this, but it's a very good tip, and if you haven't got them, you should definitely consider them. If you live in the US, then it shouldn't really be a problem for you. You've got tons of choice. Maybe you want to go to the Control Freak website, or maybe you want to go to, I don't know what kind of websites you'd use. I'm sure you'd use something like Control Freak or eBay or whatever. Maybe you have an Amazon. For the UK, you can still use all of those websites. However, if you use Control Freak, I'm given to understand that it costs more due to shipping charges and all that. So it's just easier and less expensive to buy them. I would suggest, I got mine from eBay, and I would definitely suggest people in the UK and other countries, if you can get them on eBay, get them on eBay, but don't get them second-hand, get them brand new, because generally, second-hand, they wear down really easily. Or when I say really easily, I mean, if you're selling them second-hand, they're not going to be in the best quality. But they're quite resistant, you know. The only thing I'll say is that it does ruin the controller thumbsticks a bit if you take them off and on and put them back on again quite a lot, because they grip onto it, and every time you take it off, it etches off a tiny bit of rubber. And if you keep doing that, mine are absolutely wrecked now. If I take the thumbsticks, the control for itself, I won't be able to play with them because they're just absolutely wrecked. So that's a little side note. I am playing right now on the 360 and the PS4, and the PS4 I find the thumbsticks quite small, so again, these might be used for you. Go online, go on YouTube, find reviews, and find all the different types of major control freaks and stuff, and try and find a good one for you. I like the middle range, not too tall, not too short, and I also really hate the convex ones, as I said earlier with the PS3. I find it pointless people getting control freaks that are convex, meaning curving upwards, because what that means is that your thumbs are more likely to slip off. Whereas I've got ones that are not only a nice rubber grip, so that your hands won't slip. They're also, the shape of them, are also a concave shape, meaning that your thumb kind of sits in it nicely. It's got a little dip which your thumb sits in, and that's really going to help you. I have control freaks on both thumbsticks. Most people have them on only one, you know, like the right one for looking left and right and all that, but some people have it on the movement one as well, which I do. I like them on both because it just feels better. It feels more natural rather than having one, you know, thumb higher than the other. It doesn't really make sense. So look up reviews and stuff about control freaks. I have gone with some Black Ops 2 ones. They're quite cheap. Don't go for the newer ones generally because they won't be any better in quality, but they'll just be newer and charge you more because it's for a newer game. So there's no point really going for the newer ones unless you've got a specific purpose. Make sure you get the right ones for your controller, obviously, because they're different for each controller. But yeah, that's all I have to really say. Make sure you get good control freaks. They're really good. You're not going to regret buying them, basically. And once you get used to them, they're going to be very, very helpful. Like, start off with, they feel very weird, but once you get used to it, it's going to be very, very helpful. Now, the next tip I have for you is when you get once you've chosen your weapon, which is more what we talked about in the last video, you then want to go into your shooting range and test out your weapons. You know, when you go in the class and then press start and then you can load up your firing range. Go there, practice with weapons, go up to the actual desk, or whatever you want to call it, and then just practice with all those, you know, targets and dummies and whatnot. Just try and get some lots of shots, try and improve, and if you keep doing that, you know, you can pop in and out, you can, you know, refill ammo and all that, so it's very easy, and it's just kind of like practicing without actually having to load up a match. Very easy. If you keep doing that, as the phrase goes, practice makes perfect, and you will get better with your aiming tips. Now, the next thing is actually going into private match. If you've, you know, kind of, as you are now with your, how you feel your quality is and how your skill you feel you are on Call of Duty, match that to the difficulty. If you feel you're quite a bad player, or, you know, to put it nicer, not quite as advanced, then maybe start off at kind of the easy difficulty for enemies on private match, and then, you know, kind of set it up like a normal match, but just make the enemies easy difficulty. Get really good on that, and then once you've practiced with that, then you can increase your skill, and eventually you will become a better player, and you'll be able to play, you know, kind of the hardened, maybe even veteran, you know, different playlists. And then from then onwards, you can then go to mixed, which is more, you know, realistic, and then, yeah, then you'll be able to play. And once you've got up there, you're definitely going to be a lot better player on Call of Duty. Those are the tips, you know, in theory, but I mean, those, to be honest, are quite rubbish tips. So I'm going to be talking about now how to actually kind of improve when you're in game, how to improve your aim, all that kind of stuff. So really, I find that sensitivity is an important thing. I normally have my sensitivity on about 12 to 14, but you need to find a sensitivity that works for you. Basically, what you want to test really is looking from left to right. How quickly can you do it? How quickly can you want to find, and again, this would be perfect for your firing range. You want to find how quickly you are able to actually lock on to your enemy, hip firing or aiming in. Just whatever you want to find the quickest way possible, obviously, to lock onto that enemy. So fiddle around with the sensitivity. Once you found that's your best sensitivity, it will still feel a bit weird. Keep getting used to it, keep playing, and you'll definitely get better, and you'll definitely get used to that sensitivity. So that's our sensitivity point of view, that's our control freaks, that's our getting used to improving that kind of thing, you know, playing with matches, gradually increasing the difficulty, and eventually, you know, you should be doing really well. This, by the way, this won't all be done in one day, you know, you're probably going to have to do it over a couple of weeks to actually see any improvement, but this is definitely going to help you out. And then from here onwards, you're then going to want to try and, again, like, play games and try and get better, you know, with, when you go into, you're going to have to get used to the game modes for how you use your skills and how you kind of navigate the map and how you take out players. But generally, I would say do not use your EXO. The more you use your EXO, the more difficult it is to actually, you know, aim on targets and stuff. So you want to kind of stay on the ground as much as possible, and then if you, like I said, if you improve by getting that right sensitivity and everything, it's going to be really easy. And then once from there, you just need to practice. Even for me, even if I'm not playing on Xbox or PlayStation at all, I'll just, if I have my controller here, I will kind of just like imagine as if I'm playing and just think for a minute, you know, kind of move the thumbsticks with my hands and just kind of imagine if I was playing a little bit. I do that every now and then. I'm not talking about for hours on end, just like, oh, this is a good game in my head, imagining it. What I mean is, like, just if I'm there, if I'm at the desk and I see my controller, I'll pick it up and just move it a little bit and think, oh, you know, and kind of imagine as if I was playing how far I need to move this way or that way or whatever, and just keep doing that a little bit, I don't know, for 10 seconds, and I just keep doing that every now and then. It just kind of, it's really weird because it seems stupid, but it actually really helps me. It probably seems like something I thought of off the top of my head, but it's really not. I find that quite useful. Now, Aside from everything else, one of the best tips I have for you guys though is actually before you start up your console and before you actually start up a game, make sure your hands are ready, because sometimes what can happen is if you're cold, or if you've been, you know, like, I don't know, moving stuff like for example, you know, using, I don't know, spanners or stuff, or screwdrivers. I don't know why you'd be doing that, but if for whatever reason your hands are quite tense or not quite ready, you're not quite very comfortable, they might be a bit agitated or sore, whatever, just make sure you sort that out. For example, if you're cold, or even if you've just been doing something and that hasn't been gaming, maybe you just want to do this anyway, what you want to do is basically just make sure your hands are warmed up, you know, just wave your hands, move your hands about, and just kind of get them warmed up, because that will get obviously more blood going to your hands, which will mean you'll be, you know, more able to, they'll be more flexible, and you'll be able to use them better, I guess, really. So that's something that I would suggest, and I don't know how silly that sounds, but it's definitely a very good tip. So mainly, obviously it's better if you're like I say, if you're cold or something, but even if you've just, I don't know, been writing something, you've been watching TV, doing whatever, and you haven't been gaming, just warm up quickly, just move your hands about, just kind of wing them about, just get them warmed up. It sounds ridiculous, but it really does help, and maybe you're going to have to do that if you want to become better, just to improve your aim. Now, one thing, another really good thing, is before you get into a game, make sure you quickly warm up. You know, in sports, you can't just jump into a match. It's not going to be good for you. You're going to experience fatigue very quickly, and you're probably going to strain muscles as well. So what you're going to want to do with your muscles, you have to get them warmed up so that you're supplying kind of more, I don't know, oxygen, whatever, around the body, so that you're able to provide enough energy for doing that sport, so you don't experience fatigue and you don't kind of, you know, get all strained up. The same happens with gaming. So what you want to do before you get into a game, if you go into private match, just practice with the game, whatever your skill is. Hopefully you listened to my tip earlier and would have already kind of gradually increasing skill by gradually increasing the difficulty and eventually getting to that higher difficulty. It's going to take a while, but it'll be useful. Once you've got to a difficulty or whatever you're happy with, then jump into a private match right before you're about to play, and then just play casually, and just you know, it should be very helpful. If you jump straight into a game, and I have found this to be extremely true, if you jump straight into a game and then you do really badly the first game, maybe you weren't concentrating, maybe you didn't feel like it, maybe you're angry or whatever, maybe it's just not your game, maybe it's just you're not in the mood, what will happen, probably, most likely, as often with me, what will happen is that you'll do really badly the first game, and by that will aggravate you so much that you then want to do better the second game, and because you're not properly thinking, you're more thinking about what you did the last game than this game, you then get agitated even more, and then you do worse the second game, and then it just goes more downhill from there. And just for the whole amount of time, for that whole gaming session, I normally find that I've ruined that gaming session because of that one first game, and you just don't feel right, you don't feel like you can do well, and you lack confidence, which then means that you don't do as well as you normally would have done. So really, make sure you warm up first, make sure you play a private match, and then go into multiplayer. Okay, if the match is really bad, maybe you'll have to rage quit, but again, that's something that I rarely do, because it ruins your win-to-loss ratio, and it's not fair on other players. But you know, those are some really awesome tips. Hopefully, hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you find them useful. If you have, let me know. Leave your own feedback down below, and if you haven't checked out any of my recent videos, then if you can check them out, then that would be absolutely really cool. Now, thanks guys for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on my next video.
Meanwhile